Okay.
Hi, I think we're live now, aren't we? Hi everybody. My name's Jenny. I am the OEP Senior HR Officer, and I'd like to welcome you today to our live webinar. Today's session is going to focus on the Executive Support Officer internship that we currently have advertised in the Business Strategy and Planning team. We've set this up as a Teams event, so attendees can attend anonymously. There is a Q&A, which please feel free to put any questions in. We'll address this as we go on throughout the webinar, and we'll also do some questions at the end. Before I start, I'm just going to ask the panel to introduce themselves. So I'm going to go to Natalie first, please.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Natalie Prosser. I'm the Chief Executive here at the OEP.
Sophie.
Hi, and thank you for attending this webinar. My name is Sophie Quarrell. I am the Board Secretary and Private Office Manager at the OEP, and this role would sit within my kind of direct team.
We'll go to Andy.
Hi everybody, my name's Andy Lester. I'm Head of Strategy and Planning at the OEP, and Sophie is part of my team, so this role will also sit in my wider team.
And we have John.
Hello, I'm John Pound. I'm the HR Manager here at the OEP, and I'm driving the slides in the background, but also around to answer questions at the end.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to have a little look at what we're looking for. You're going to find out a bit about the OEP and what we do. Sophie is going to talk to us a bit about the job that we have. And then we're going to come on to some HR queries and questions and recruitment information for you. Just one thing to note, this webinar is not a substitute for the full job description. If you're wanting to put in an application, please do read the full job description on civil service jobs. This is supplementary information, information so that you can meet us and ask us some questions, but please do read that full job description. Okay, we'll move on to Natalie, please.
Okay, thanks, Jenny. So I wanted to just give you a little bit more information about who we are at the OEP and where we fit within the broader landscape of environmental regulation. Now, the OEP is still a relatively young organisation. We were set up in 2021. And we have an incredibly broad role in relation to environmental issues. We cover the full gamut of environmental challenges, including things like water pollution, air pollution, pollution from agriculture. We consider things to do with waste and chemicals regulation. And at our core, what we're here to do is to hold government to account for the commitments that government has made to improving the environment, and where government has legal duties to protect the environment. So that's where we sit. Now, as a small organisation with a big remit, we have a real breadth of individuals working with us. So we have scientists and analysts, we have lawyers, we have investigators, we have folks who deal with the public on the front line. We have communications professionals who are there to help us talk about our work. And we have loads of other folks, including in our private office team. And our private office team, and you will hear more from them directly, have a really critically important job in essentially making sure all of those other people I just mentioned can do their jobs effectively. And so that we all pull together to really deliver for the environment, because that's fundamentally what we're all about. Because we are a relatively small organisation, we've worked really hard to make it friendly, inclusive. When I ask new people when they join the organisation how they describe their experience, they would say one of the things that's really obvious at the OEP is how kind people are. You know, we look after our people and we look after each other, and that's because all of us here are absolutely committed to the mission of the organisation to protect and improve the environment. So if you're looking for the opportunity to come in and really learn about environmental protection, environmental regulation, how things work in government, you couldn't pick a better opportunity than this internship. And Andy and Sophie will talk a little bit about what we're looking for in particular, but my message to all of you is we're looking for potential far more than we're looking for experience. We want someone who is coming in really wanting to learn from us, but also to make a contribution to helping the organisation be as good as it can be. And so if you're sitting there wondering, am I good enough? Have I got enough experience? I think you should err on the side of putting in an application. And because we want to provide an opportunity for someone to come into this internship, but we also want to hear fresh perspectives, and particularly from our young people, which is one of the reasons we've created this post as an internship. So please do use this opportunity to ask the guys any questions that you have. There is no such thing as staff question. I'm the chief executive and I ask staff questions all the time. In fact, I think it's one of my special skills to be the person in the room saying, I don't really understand that. Can you explain it to me? Because you don't get anywhere without asking good questions. So please do use the time here. And I hope you find this webinar really very useful. And I'm looking forward to getting some really good applications for this internship. Jenny, I will hand back to you as MC for this webinar.
Lovely, thanks Natalie. Okay, we're going to hand over to Andy now, who's going to talk a bit about the OEP.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm going to do much as good a job as Natalie just did talking about who we are and what we do. But we, as you'll see on the screen here, we're part of DEFRA, which is the government department which is responsible for environmental protection and improvement in England. And we're also funded by DERA, which is the equivalent in Northern Ireland. So we work across England and Northern Ireland. And although we're part of the government machine, we are legally independent from those. So we are, and our independence is really important to us because of what we do. Because as Natalie says, at the core of what we do is we hold government to account for delivering environmental protection in accordance with its plans and in accordance with the law. And that accountability means that we need to exercise our judgment independently, which means we need evidence, which is why we have scientists. We need analysts. But we also need people with really expert skills in law, as I said, science, and how things work on the ground, so environmental regulation and other things. We also have, we're fully independent operationally, which means we have excellent people like Jenny and John here who help us understand and support our people, but we also have communication specialists, we have accountants, we have IT specialists, and everything and anything you think that an organisation might need to run. So although we're small, we are very broad in the skills and experiences of the people that are here and who you'd have the opportunity to work with. We were set up a few years ago by an Act of Parliament after the UK left the European Union, to create this system of oversight domestically for the way that the environment is stewarded by our governments. So I think in big picture, I guess we're here to protect and improve the environment. We do that independently, and we do it by holding government and others to account. But Natalie spoke to that much more eloquently than I just did. So if we go into the next one, and I'll talk a little bit more about my team. So my team, the business strategy and planning team, sits right at the heart of the OEP, and we describe our own mission to be to help the organisation hum. So we're the people that make all the cogs of this magnificent machine fit together so that things happen in the right way at the right time, so that we deliver the outcomes we're here to do. So that means we do things like working on our organisation strategy. That's our overall approach. What are we here to achieve and how are we going to go about doing it? Also means we help the organisation set its plans. So working out the specific things that we're going to do to try and achieve that strategy, where we're going to put our money, which projects are we going to take forward, how we're going to do that. We then make sure that we're delivering in that way. So we monitor the extent to which we're achieving what we set out to. We do that in a variety of different ways, by gathering data and analysing it and making it available to those who make decisions, the leaders of the organisation. But we also do it by surveying others and working with our stakeholders to help them to tell us how they think we're doing. We look after how we make all our decisions. So we're a small organisation, but what we do has teeth and bite. You know, we can take government to court. That's one of the tools we have to hold government to account. And so we don't take any of those decisions lightly, as you'd expect. So we look after how we make decisions, and Sophie and her team play a really critical role in doing that. But we also help our really senior leaders perform at their best, so that they are in the right place at the right time with the right information, so that they can succeed and support the organisation deliver its mission. And there's various other things that we do, but all of those things are connected to helping the organisation deliver its purpose by getting our people to work together in a way that really hums, so the organisation is super successful. Within that, the private office is a really small team. It's a team of 3 people, but perfectly formed in its magnificence, super friendly, and a great bunch of people to work with. They're responsible for that decision-making framework, so working with our executive committee and our board, so that decisions are taken when they need to be taken in the right way and they're properly documented. They also provide day-to-day support to our executive directors, chair, chief executive, and other board members, in fact, so that they are equipped to excel in their role. And we do various other things through private office. What I would say about working in private office, and I'm sure Sophie might come into this in a minute, but you'll hear from lots of people when they talk about their job, they say no 2 days are the same. But in this role, that's really true. No 2 days are the same. It depends what our leaders are doing. So one day we might be supporting deliver an event. We might be making sure people are in the right place. We might be thinking about briefing for a particularly important meeting or an appearance in Parliament. The common thread of all this work is that you're working with our most senior leaders, you're working with the rest of the organisation to help them work together so that the senior leaders can deliver at the point they need to. So it's a real privilege, really, to work in our private office and work with people that are expert in their field, at the top of the game, at the top of the tree here at the OEP, but also working across the organisation with everyone else to make sure that they've got everything they need to do that well. So I would really encourage you to take a look at this role. I'm so excited that we've got the opportunity to advertise this role. It's a really fantastic opportunity for someone who wants to come in and experience what working in the civil service and organisation like us is like. And we've got an executive team, and I hope you got that from Natalie. The people that you're working with really want to help this person get the most out of this opportunity with us and use it to go on to bigger, better and more glorious things in the future. And we'll do everything we can to make that possible. So with that, I'll pass on to Sophie to talk a little bit more about exactly what the day-to-day will look like.
Thank you, Andy. And yeah, I mean, a lot of what I will probably kind of share in the next couple of slides echoes a lot of what Andy and Natalie have already shared. So obviously the job description provides all of the detail that you'll need. So again, I know Jenny said to refer back to it if you are looking to apply to the position, but so I won't read out all of this that's on the screen today, but I think just some things to highlight and some things to also kind of share and make you aware of is that I guess this role is probably more than what is written on the paper here. It's a role that allows you, as Andy said, to be exposed to our most senior members of staff and be in different rooms at different times, and exposed to some incredible things and some incredible opportunities. And I guess some examples that I could share with you, which I'm sure might be interesting, is some of the events that we do. So this role will definitely be involved in planning of events. One which will be in January, we hold an event which is to highlight the publication of an annual progress report, which is a big piece of work that is critical for the OEP, and it's part of our obligations to produce. And so yeah, there will be an event which is often held in London, and so we'll be looking to plan that towards the end of this year. And so yeah, this role will definitely be really involved in that, and again talking to our board, again senior members of staff within the organisation, but also stakeholders outside the organisation as well. There's also an element of being involved in the executive teams. Certain experiences of that will be planning trips maybe across to our Belfast office and organising meetings with stakeholders. Some really interesting meetings going on. Again, you'd be at the point of contact for all of these meetings going on. So again, some really interesting work to be done. And again, those are just 2 examples of the work that this role will get involved in. And I say all I would encourage you is that whatever's written on this paper or this slide here is not the exhaustive list of the work that you would be getting involved in. In terms of then who we are looking for, and I guess my emphasis here is we're looking for a person, not necessarily specific work experience. Again, we are looking for or anyone to apply that feels like they might be the right person. It doesn't mean to say that you've got work experience that can evidence these things. We would be happy to hear from you with regards to how you think your skills might be evidenced in things that you've done outside of work or at school or university or whatever might be relevant to the criteria. I guess some kind of key criteria that we would like to be able to see and evidenced would be your ability to work with people. As say, you'll be working with everyone within the organisation. I'm sure even Jenny and John, who sit outside of our team, would echo that they get involved with the private office. And as I say, you'll be working with all levels of staff within the organisation. And I think also your time management skills will be a big thing. There's a lot going on. And it's balancing what's like the priorities and what's the next big thing to work on, and making sure that you get things done within the day-to-day, but equally some project stuff which will be running throughout the course of the internship as well. I say the bits of qualifications that we're looking for are all detailed on the job description as well. But if you have any questions on our requirements or more information about the criteria we're looking for, then please feel free to ask any questions. But as I say, I would just say that I'm really excited to be able to get these applications in once we receive them and read through them and meet with some of you. But I would really encourage you to apply, because as I say, we're not looking for a rigid person to come into this role. We are really open to meet and talk to you guys and see how you might fit within the role. So yeah, I would just encourage you to apply. And I think that's everything, and I'll hand back to you, Jenny.
Lovely. Thank you, Sophie. Okay, just a reminder, whilst we're at this point, we've just heard about the role, do pop in any questions into the Q&A and we'll get back and answer your questions as they come up. But there's currently nothing there, so I'm going to carry on. So I'm going to talk a bit about the actual application and recruitment process itself. For this role, to make an application, you are going to be asked to complete a CV detailing your work history and your qualifications, and a 750-word personal statement. And we've given an allowance of 750 words for this. It doesn't mean you need to use it all, but you've got more than enough words there to sort of answer the question well. So there is a specific question for this personal statement. And we're hoping that you're going to answer the questions providing examples to demonstrate your experience. So the three things that we're interested in hearing about are: why are you interested in this role and what do you hope to gain from an internship? Provide an example of when you've worked as part of a team and what have you learned from this, and provide an example of when you have had to meet a challenging deadline and still do a good job. Now, as Sophie's alluded to in her section, you can draw from examples from previous employment, paid or unpaid, voluntary work, from social situations, social groups, sporting events, or any extracurricular activities. So you can draw up on the full range of your sort of life experience, as it were, to answer those questions. And when we say provide examples, do provide examples, because lots of people say, I'm an effective team player, but actually give us an example, show us, tell us, how have you demonstrated this in the past? So do provide good examples for those. Once you've submitted your application form and the closing date's passed, you will be, they'll go through a sifting process, and if it's successful, you'll be invited to interview, where you will be assessed on your experience and behaviours and strengths. Interviews will be held in person at our Worcester office, which is at Wildwood. It's just off junction 7 of the M5. And also, if you do require reasonable adjustments, please do let us know as soon as possible on your application form, and we'll pick those up and work with you. Can we move to the next one, please? Thank you. Okay, some application tips. Okay, your personal statement. Because there is a word count here, don't write out the questions. There will eat into your word count unnecessarily. So you may number the questions, just put 1, 2, 3 if that's how you want to do it. That's absolutely fine. As I've said, use examples, don't just make claims. And also think about SPAG, spelling, punctuation and grammar. It does matter. You know, you're writing a professional application here. We would like to see very good SPAG, please. In terms of behaviours, so behaviours for this job will be assessed at interview. Read the Civil Service Success Profiles document carefully and look at the requirements for the AO grade, because this is what's being assessed. If you have a full read of the job description, there's a link in there that will take you to the Success Profiles document that you will be able to see, and you can look up the AO grade there. For each behaviour that you're asked about at interview, you'll be asked to provide specific examples. So, for example, your questions might start, can you give me an example of, can you tell me about a time when? So the questions are going to be very much about how have you delivered or how have you demonstrated those behaviours in the past. We recommend that you structure your responses by using the STAR format, situation, task, action and result, or the CAR format, context, action and result model. There is plenty of information about behaviour and competency-based interviewing online, so please do your research, because there are a lot of information out there, and it will help you at your interview if you are prepared and you know what to expect. And the other thing is, do use the word I rather than we. We want to know what you did in the example you're providing and not what everyone else did. So please do take on board those tips. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so as I've said, this role is based in Worcester. We're based at Wildwood, which is Wildwood Drive, junction 7 of the M5. For those of you who are local, it's near County Hall. All of our employees are contractually based to the Worcester office. We do have a few people in Northern Ireland, but this role is based at the Worcester office. We do support a blended working model. And our employees are expected to attend the office about 40% of the week. Whilst this role is hybrid, because of the nature of this role and the support that we want to provide for this role, we will be expecting a slightly higher office attendance so that we can put that support in place for you. The role is an admin officer level role, which has a starting salary of £25,070. This is a fixed term role which will last until the 31st of March next year. There is a very good civil service pension on offer, and you will also receive 25 days annual leave prorated. So for a full list of all the benefits, please do again read the full job description, because there's a lot more in there than we've got on here. Okay, so just a reminder, the application deadline is at 11:55 on the 29th of September. We will be starting the SIF from the next day, so it'll actually be the 30th of September, because you're not going to start at midnight. And then interviews, we expect them to be carried out early October with offers shortly afterwards. These are indicative dates, may be subject to change, but that's certainly what we hope to work towards. Okay, so please, we have no questions in the Q&A at the moment, but if anybody does have any questions, please do pop them in and we will do our best to answer them. If you think of a question later and you haven't quite got one on the tip of your tongue yet, but you do have something when you actually come to make your application, please do email us on recruitment@theoep.org.uk and we will get back to you. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I'm just going to open up the floor to see if there's anything anyone else would like to add, and to allow another 30 seconds for any questions. Okay, as I say, if you can't think of any questions now, but you think of something later, please do email us. And I can see John's just put in a note there with our email address in the chat. The webinar will be posted on the OEP website and in a couple of days' time. So if you want to watch back, you can certainly do that. Okay, so if nobody's got any questions and nobody else would like to add anything, we'll say thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.